Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blaire Postman.
Yay!
And that's my husband and sports stat expert Gary Haymes. Woohoo! And this is the Gary's second annual critique of everyone's fantasy football draft and friend alienation special.
Right.
Woo! Now, listeners.
Although, to be honest, if it's a friend alienation special, they're not friends anymore.
Well,
okay.
They're not alienated. Maybe you're alienating new people. Okay, now, listeners, especially new ones, this is an extra that we're doing. It's not a standard episode, just me and Gary here on the phone. But to never miss our weekly episodes and extras, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fan Wife, Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, and to support the podcast with cool sponsor perks and such, even for just $2 a month, you can find that at patreon.com/My Fantasy Wife. If you missed any of that, then just go to our website, myfantasywife.com. It's got links to everything. And Gary, will you tell us, since it's a very special event, we're having a little sponsor for this, will you tell us about this week's sponsor?
Sure. This week's sponsor is Crazy Cat Comedy Night to benefit All for Cats, Thursday, September 8th. Come get your laugh on with the help of Cape Fear's best comics. Also, in addition to Cape Fear's best comics, we'll have Blaire Postman, Lou Morgante, Louis Bishop, and Drew Harrison. All proceeds will go to All for Cats to help them in their mission of saving homeless cats in the Cape Fear area. There will also be a raffle with great prizes, a pop-up market featuring local artists and vendors, food truck and full bar available through Burnt Mill Creek, doors at 6 p.m., comedy show starts at 7 p.m. Tickets are $10 in advance, $12 at the door. Go to eventbrite.com and search Crazy Cat Comedy Night for tickets. That's eventbrite.com and Crazy Cat Comedy Night.
Yes, it's amazing because you go there and there's really only one thing that comes up when you type in Crazy Cat Comedy Night, which I found a little surprising, actually. All right, guys, and just to let people, especially those, maybe this is the first time you're listening, this is unusual. It's not quite the sound of the episode. We're missing a couple folks.
This one will be funny.
Wow, you're going to be, this is the Friend Alienation special, and
right.
you're really getting off to a great start. But upcoming guests, next week, September 11th, we'll have comedian Andy Haynes. September 11th, we're going to have married funny people Kara Klink and Jared Logan. And September 25th, comedian Michelle Balloon. And then we are also doing an Eliminator League. So you can log in and find that on ESPN.com. But the easiest way is to just go to our homepage, myfantasywife.com. Scroll down a couple clicks. You'll see a big link in fuchsia. And you have to sign up for that by noon on Thursday, September 8th. And if you want to be in our Pick 5 League, just tweet. You don't have to tweet us, but just follow us at MyFantWife on Twitter. We tweet out 5 games a week. You pick a winner for each game. We keep track. There are weekly winners and overall winners for the season. So even if you miss a week, that's cool. You might still get something fun, like a mention about your awesomeness or some such. And I think with that, we're ready to get going. All right, Gary.
All right.
So what we had a draft. Yes, we're gonna get. That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
We'll get to the draft in a second, but we had the draft on Wednesday, which was August 31st. And
do you think we got away with that fake team thing that you set up?
You know what? I mean, you're really gonna cause a problem. But do you feel like you want to address it further, or do you think it just gives false credibility to already spurious notions of foul play?
I think that we did manage to screw Conti and Bava pretty bad.
No, would you stop it? They're going to believe you.
Right. All right, well, let me just say this.
And you know who they're going to complain to? You know who they're going to complain to? Me. Because
right.
you're not on Twitter or anything.
I know.
They're going to complain to me.
I think that, something needs to be said, but I don't want to single the person out. So we'll use I
already told them we don't negotiate with terrorists because
right.
they're threatening to. Somebody hadn't signed up for the league in time.
We'll call him Mills Waxwell.
And if you don't sign up in time, you can't. If you don't have, I didn't know this.
Mills Waxwell.
I didn't. Oh, stop! I didn't know that you. If you didn't have all people signed, I don't know. I just thought it went forward and they auto picked for that team. I have no idea. I'd never done this. I have no idea.
You did it last year.
No, but I didn't. I'm not in charge of the team.
What team?
Or the league, rather. I don't even know all the right words to use, okay? So I didn't realize that the fact that somebody hadn't signed up, that morning or the day before was a problem. I just thought something would
Mills
pick.
Waxwell.
Okay, stop it. And you will not be
That's a fake name.
Don't be a traitor and feed anyone to the wolves.
A fake name? I didn't. I can't.
You are weak. You are weak.
I'm weak?
Yes, you're negotiating with these bullies. But anyway, so we had a little issue, and then we had to, and this person has like 18 jobs, and so we had to work out to get a team. The team signed up for him, but he has his own team. It auto-picked. Everything is above board. We do not have access to this team, I don't think.
Hey, cover the mic up for a second. Do you think they bought it?
Stop it! My God, you don't have to put it up with it. They come to me. No one comes to you with their problems.
Really?
Yes. No. Okay. All right. So with that said, with that addressed, I'm sure.
Yes, I think we settled that.
Yeah, I think we totally settled that, and we won't hear about that for the next 20 years. Okay. But we got to move on because we don't have limitless time.
I think if anybody looks at his sorry-ass team, they will clearly see that it was auto-picked and nobody would want that. It's just fine.
Okay. So
why would we gain nothing by doing that on purpose?
No, it's just an enormous pain in the ass that I don't have time for. Okay, so I'm sure that's completely put it to rest.
Yeah,
and there'll be no further discussion of it at all season long. So let's start here, Gary. I mean, we've got the Eastern League and the Western League, and the way it's just set up.
I mean, to be fair, you did have two NASCAR teams.
You know what? No, I didn't. One. Oh, Jesus Christ. By your logic of how shitty the teams were, it should be pretty clear that I did not cheat in any way.
Okay.
So I guess it puts the people in the leagues by sign-up time or whatever, and which is also a giveaway.
No, I think it's random.
It's not random.
Okay.
But and so we're in the same league, and you're going to wind up, if we go in order, you're going to wind up evaluating our teams first. Are you good with that?
I don't care.
Okay. So here we go. Let's start. We've got the first team here is Team Hulpepper, which is your team. Who is Butch Hulpepper?
That's not my name.
Well, it's your team.
Oh, yeah.
Butch Hulpepper. Why is...
I don't remember why now, but about 10 years ago I wanted to be anonymous, and I just made that name up. It seemed like a good football name.
It does seem like a good Southern coach football name.
I imagine myself sitting around the shitty, dark-stained pine furniture living room in a house in suburban Illinois somewhere with a sausage and a beer.
Right, that sounds all right.
Butch Hulpepper.
Yeah, no, Butch Hulpepper. That sounds like a total football name.
All right.
Does he coach like high school or community college football?
No. He's like a.
Because that sounds like a coach name to me.
No, he works at the docks or something.
Oh, in Central.
I don't know.
You don't know geography.
Whatever.
All right. So what have you got here? I mean, I don't know if you're really going to go through every single thing, but
you don't.
Well, I mean, every single player. I don't think you have to go through literally every player for all of us. Okay. Why don't you start with just the main things?
All right, well, I'm looking at my lineup. I have Drew Brees for quarterback.
No, okay.
What? Wow, I got really into that.
Well, it was brought up in the smack talk during the draft that you gave Brian Bava a bit of crap last year for drafting Drew Brees.
I addressed this already the night of the draft.
Yes, but America doesn't know
when
that.
When he does it, it's reckless. When I do it, it's daring.
Which pretty much, I think, sums up your attitude towards this entire evaluation of everybody.
No, I with my level of experience, you can take a chance like that. With Bava's level of experience, you need to stick to a more solid game plan.
And why? And why is that?
This is the Friend Alienation
special.
No,
and why is that? Like, what are you
why does more experience give you better insight? I don't know. It's just a law of the universe.
What does your experience allow you to do with Drew Brees that poor Mr. Bava's experience would lead
I'm
him to
capable of
neglect.
predicting that. Now look what happened. He had a shitty year last year. For about the first half of the year, he didn't do a thing. Because I had him in several of my leagues last year, too, though I didn't draft him as recklessly high as Bava did. And he didn't do anything for, like, the first half of the year. So, that's why I criticized him. He took him on what was clearly going to be a down year due to the loss of the players around him. Now he's reloaded a little bit this year, and I like his odds better.
You reloaded in what way? You're just saying that like he's due. That's basically all you're saying.
No. They change. See, you've got the player's talent, but in case of a quarterback, you've also got like who he's throwing to, and he drafted a really good rookie receiver.
Okay.
And they got
Who's the coach now? It's still the same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
Oh,
Sean.
I thought he was leaving.
Nope. Well, there was much talk, but it didn't happen.
Oh, okay. I paid a little attention.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
And then he's got Fleener over from Indianapolis at the tight end, which has been a gaping hole. See, that's where he lost it. They had the best tight end going when he was throwing to Jimmy Graham, but they shipped his ass off to Seattle, and they lost about a fifth of their offense last year. So that's why I didn't take him. And now he's got, although Fleener not the strongest football name. Like I don't have a lot of confidence in someone named Fleener. How many Fleeners are in the Hall of Fame?
Sounds like Shirley Feeney.
Well, it just sounds like someone who's not a tough tight end.
It's not Butch Culpepper.
Plus, he went to Stanford.
So?
Well, it's not the most masculine school.
Who's the big quarterback from... Somebody big went to Stanford.
Lots of people go to Stanford. I'm just saying. You're right. It's not Butch Culpepper.
Okay. Whatever. So then you have C.J. Anderson. You just stop me at any point. D'Angelo Williams.
Now, look. That D'Angelo Williams... Last year, exact same thing. They've got the dynamic offense, one of the top offenses in the NFL, and their lead back gets suspended for drugs for fourth of the season to start the season. And D'Angelo Williams came in and ran amok. I think he was the number 2 running back during the first 4 games.
So is he back for the whole season?
Yes, exact same thing. Their running back suspended yet again for yet the same thing for the beginning of the season, and D'Angelo Williams is taking his place.
Wait a second. I just noticed something.
What?
You got a guy down here in tight end whose last name is Fleener.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I just don't like that. I don't think that's a very football-y name. Doesn't mean he's not going to,
okay.
catch the ball.
So D'Angelo Williams.
That's the exact guy I was talking about.
I know, but I wasn't looking at your thing. I was just taking what you were talking about.
Yes.
Okay, so Odell Beckham Jr.,
right?
Who he plays for the team that if I'm ever going to root for an actual team, it will be the Giants.
Well, we skipped right over C.J. Anderson. He's also interesting because last year he was the 8th pick in the draft or the 9th pick in the draft, something like that, and he had a kind of bad year. But he came back. The last 3 or 4 games of the season, he did pretty well, and then they went on to have some level of success.
They won the Super Bowl,
right? And so, this year he is 32nd in the rankings, but they've lost their quarterback, and they have a very questionable quarterback coming into play. So I see them running the ball a lot, and with that defense, they're gonna turn the ball over a lot, and
because you don't think they're going to throw the ball very well.
He was not a value at 8 last year. I think he's a value at 32 this year, and based on last year's statistics, he has some. Guess what?
Oh, upside.
Oh,
ding, 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 ding. That is your freaking watchword.
Right.
Oh, from last year, I totally forgot about upside.
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't. Never mind. Okay, upside. So Dante Moncrief.
Yeah. Now, third-year wide receiver, came into his own a little bit last year, but Luck was hurt, missed 9 games. This year, Luck's back with the vengeance, wants to prove he's the man again. Moncrief expecting to blow up, lots of upside.
Okay. Kobe Fleener, I think we've covered, right?
Well, yeah.
I don't remember what you said.
Same deal.
He's
he's split time.
I wasn't paying that close
Split time in Indianapolis for several years with Dwayne Allen, and now he's his own. There's nobody else there. He's going to get all the snaps, and Drew Brees, pretty good quarterback. They pass a lot. It'll be good.
And tell me again where the tight end, why they can sometimes score touchdowns, but then other times they're on the defense, right?
No.
Oh. Who is that?
Nobody's on both offense and defense.
I thought they kind of weren't.
No.
Okay, well then tell me.
Well, they're sort of like a lineman. On many plays they block.
Okay, that sounds like defense to me.
No.
Well, I realize you're on the offensive line, but you are pushing people away. You're not trying to score the touchdowns.
Well, your team is trying to score them.
Right, I understand that. But what I mean is you
all
weren't
players,
scoring
everybody
player.
But the quarterback blocks sometimes.
Okay, but the idea...
Even the quarterback will
even
even
the
block
wide
sometimes.
receivers and the running backs?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess my point was sometimes he's on the line, but sometimes he's pushing people away.
He doesn't
sometimes he's
always
trying to score.
go out for a pass.
Right.
Sometimes he blocks, but that's true of all of them. Just more so from the tight end.
We'll get to Rob Gronkowski more on that. Okay, and then you have the Seahawks. Jeremy Langford.
Yeah, Bears running back.
Bears.
He's going to start.
And then Seahawks defense, and their kicker is Roberto Acquaio.
That's the guy that Tampa Bay drafted, I think, in the second round, and people were stunned that they took a kicker so high. But he's pretty good.
Okay, what makes him? Where's he from?
I don't remember what college he went to, but he's been. Didn't say.
It doesn't say where they're from.
Yeah.
View player card.
That might do.
Oh, this is like a whole thing.
Wow, look at that. He's handsome, double.
He is.
Florida State.
Florida State. Yes. And he's staying in Florida. Oh, that must be nice for him.
Must be.
I bet that's nice.
He's got white teeth. Look how white his teeth are.
I know. Well, I feel like maybe they photoshopped something.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I don't think we need to talk about everybody on everyone's bench.
Well, I'd just like to point out the depth of my bench. Thomas Rawls was
just another man talking about the depth of his bench,
kicking a lot of ass last year, and then got injured. But I like him for a comeback. And just in case he has problems, Christine Michael is backup. So I have both the Seattle running backs.
Christine Michael?
Yes.
Christine?
Yeah.
That's the name is Christine. That's like a boy named Sue situation. No wonder he grew up to be so strong.
He's a very large man. I don't think he's getting beat up.
But, I mean, his name is... I've never heard that.
They might pronounce it Kristen.
All right, because it looks like Christine.
Yes, it does.
Christine. Traditionally, Christine. That's a boy. Now, if Lewis were here, if we were in studio, he could pull up a boy named Sue, and it would make this a much better episode. He went to Texas A&M. He looks happy.
My name is Sue. How do you do?
Look, he's big, but he's 5'10". Like, he's not the tallest man in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're gonna die. Yeah,
right.
Right. I wish he would kind of do that. Okay. Now, in closing, is there anything else that you feel?
I'll roll back down there. Let's see if there's any other examples of my brilliance. Well, I mean, y'all can look at it for yourself. I picked up Josh Gordon. The weakest part of my team is probably the starting wide receiver. That second wide receiver, Dante Moncrief, is not a proven commodity. Odell Beckham, of course. No, but he had a good year last year. He's a borderline, you know.
You feel he has upside.
Yeah, and he's a wide receiver too now. He just could blow up. But I figured, just in case, I would draft Josh Gordon, who is suspended for the first 4 games, but 2 years ago, was the number 1 receiver in the NFL.
Right, and we only know that from 2 years ago because he's been
out with drug suspension
so
since then. Well, maybe he's been working
Which one is that again? Josh Gordon?
Yeah.
Oh, we heard about that yesterday. They said that it's only 4 games and it's not all.
No. That's somebody else. He's 4 games. He's just been 4 games.
All right. Anything else you feel the need to say generally about your team?
Roll back. Let me just look at it one more time.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I want to.
We can go back to it at the end if you think of something.
Well, you're going to ask me for a grade?
Oh, yes.
So I need to look at it. A second here.
Yes, it's a grade.
Quarterback is great. He's a Hall of Famer. Running backs, I have.
Oh my God!
Completely covered. Wide receiver, I'd be a little short at wide receiver too, but I've got Josh Gordon coming back after game 4. Give yourself
an A or A minus and get it over.
I'm not doing A, B, C. We're doing 1 to 10.
Oh, okay, fine. Give yourself a 9 and be able.
I've got the best defense. I got a killer kicker. I give myself a 7.
A 7. All right, 7.
Yeah, and you know me. Nobody gets 10.
You're a tough grader.
Or 9. Yeah.
I will say that.
Yep.
As we all know. All right, speaking of which, the next team up happens to be that's adorable. It's the Furry Fury.
Right.
Because that's hard to say. Say it.
Furry Fury.
Furry Fury.
I would point out that
Fury.
Conti's emoji is furrier than yours.
I know, but mine's the cat. Furry Fury. Furry Fury. All right. This is my team. I took Cam Newton out of spite.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna win.
How do you know? You almost won last year.
Yeah, that was
all that help I
gave
you.
You didn't give me any help. You were too competitive to give me help.
Right.
I had to watch the games up here away from you because I was freaking out.
Oh, that's not true.
Remember with the man?
But
Michael
that was nothing to do with me. That was you, though. You couldn't
remember,
take it. That was not me.
Michael Vick
but I didn't do anything to you to make you watch. You made it sound like I drove you upstairs.
No, this is an emotional roller coaster.
You just can't watch close football games.
I'm just saying we didn't hang out and strategize. Is all I'm saying.
We spent a lot of time watching football together.
Yeah, that's why you love me slightly more this year. That's the whole point of the podcast. It's to make you love me slightly more. Is it working? Oh, no. Okay, so Cam Newton.
Yes. Cam Newton, you took too high, but I know why you did it, so that's fine.
Drew is upset. Maybe.
I think you should just leave him on the bench all year.
Well, look, I also have on my bench, I also have Eli Manning.
I know, screw Cam Newton. Just put him on the bench just so Drew can't have him. But you don't need him either. Just put him on the bench.
But wouldn't Cam Newton be better than Eli Manning?
Yeah,
probably?
generally, though, you have to look at the matchups. Some week when Eli is playing the Cowboys and Cam's playing, Denver, you might switch
Last
him.
time, I can't remember who I had, but it was so clear I didn't really change it until somebody got hurt. And I had to put Michael Vick in. Oh, I had Roethlisberger. That's who I had last year. Didn't he get hurt? He did. And I put Michael Vick in.
I would point out to you that Eli Manning is projected to have 18 points this week going against the hapless Dallas defense. Yes. And Cam Newton is only predicted to have 17 points going against the very difficult Denver defense.
Right, which I have. So that's the other thing, though. You play them against each other.
You can't root for,
yeah, it's hard.
Somebody's got to lose in that matchup.
Oh, someone's always got to lose. TJ Yeldon, he plays for Jacksonville, which is a team I really only paid attention to last year because of your all players from cat named teams
I know.
league.
We'll be doing that again.
And and I think this is a good time to mention that you are going to be doing. God help me. You're going to be doing you think maybe up to 50
If I can get them drafted in time, we're running out of time working on it.
Running out of time, and you're going to have to use my...
Yes, I'm going to have to use your login because they'll only let me have 25 because no human being could possibly play more than 25.
And really that means you're going to have 49 teams.
Well, no. Well, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I'll play the 50th on another platform like I did, because I had one on another platform last year.
So maybe you should, can't you just make a new login for yourself?
I probably could, yeah.
I mean, we can make you like a Gmail
I'll have to make
account.
a new Gmail. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it that way.
We'll do it
all
that
right.
way. Because
if
you did really well and they were under my name, like, you would hate yourself forever.
No.
And you would not.
Just for months.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to live with the
forever.
fact that I was sort of getting crap. Wow, you really got sunburned yesterday on the beach. Oh, Jesus. What is that, a scar?
Ow.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so TJ Yeldon, Jacksonville.
Yes, he's a flex running back. That's a massive reach.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I had to take him. I took some other things.
Don't be so defensive.
I took some.
You going to defend Bava like this?
I'm just saying, like, I didn't take things in orders that some people will take them in. Like, I don't take running backs and wide receivers necessarily in the first couple of rounds.
Right, then no need to do that.
Giovanni.
Although you did make the playoffs
I did make the playoffs last year. Giovanni Bernard.
Same thing.
Cincinnati. Also a cat team, I just realized.
Yes, you took a lot of cat teams.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Cam Newton and
I feel like you talked about those players so much last year that unconsciously I must have...
You don't have any more cat. Those first three are the only ones.
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys. He's questionable.
Yeah.
Des Bryant.
Here's the thing about your team.
Is Des Bryant a bad guy?
No. What do you mean?
The Dallas kept drafting all these guys who'd beaten women up especially.
No.
Is he one of those?
No.
All right. Better not be.
No.
Because I have to have like, I don't want any like blood diamond situations in my team either. I don't want that.
How am I going to alienate you if you don't let me say anything?
Okay, go ahead. You alienate me every day, baby. Go ahead, say something. It says Bryant.
Well, no, I'm looking at the running backs. You got a running back problem. Those are marginal running backs. Des Bryant would be a
acceptable,
kind of star level wide receiver. Except with Tony Romo out, it's unsure what's going to happen with the Dallas passing attack.
Did Dallas just draft? Not draft. Did Dallas just sign the guy who was with Philly?
Mark Sanchez.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Is he gonna be any good enough to throw anything to Des Bryant?
I don't think he's gonna play. I think the rookie's gonna play at least to start.
Okay.
Demaryius Thomas was a top 10 wide receiver last year. I think with the quarterback situation in Denver now, he might be okay. It's just hard to say what's going to happen.
Who's the quarterback now for Denver again? Because they let the
Trevor
other guy go.
Siemian, I believe.
Oh, no one knows who that is.
Yeah, that's why Demaryius Thomas is a little risky.
You don't even know.
They also drafted a rookie who could come in if I don't know.
No, but they didn't. They let go the guy who was doing well when Peyton Manning was out. Right?
Well, they didn't let him go. They offered him a shitty offer in free agency. He left and went to Houston.
To me, that sounds like they let him go.
Well, I don't know.
If I was in charge, that sounds like
It was maybe a mistake.
But who's my tight end?
Tight end's Rob Gronkowski.
He's not hurt right now.
No,
I got him last year, but then he was hurt for a little while.
That's an excellent pick. Now, they did pick up a really good second tight end this year. But back in the day when they had that murderer,
right,
they had 2 tight ends in the top 10. They used to run more 2 tight end sets than anybody in the NFL.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, with my team, if you tell me any of these people are, like, I don't want murderers. I don't want...
No, that was the other guy.
I don't want likely or actually, actual...
Well, he was convicted of murder.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I call
Hernandez.
that's what I call like a draft blood diamond. Like, I don't want any blood diamonds on my team.
I never heard about the second. He was actually charged with a second murder in a different thing.
He got in trouble in jail.
Yeah.
He might have been beaten up.
No. He did get in trouble in jail, but the 2 murders were just 2 different murders, both before he got arrested for the first one.
Yeah, he's like the Ted Bundy.
Good tight end, though.
So anyway, Rob Gronkowski, Rashad Jennings, also for the Giants.
Yeah, he's about the same level as your 2 starters. Like, he's a flex running back, and he's going to start the season. He finished well last year. That's a good pick.
And the Broncos, I know they may not be quite as good.
No,
but
they're
my
one
defense.
of the 3 best defenses.
Yeah, I think they were at
fine.
3. And then Sebastian Janikowski
now,
for
look,
Oakland.
I know Bava loves to pick him every year.
Oh, really?
But
that's not why I took him. I didn't take him to hurt his...
But I was just reading a stat. Oakland last year was the 27th least, kicked the 27th least amount of field goals, attempted them, and the year before, 29th least. So even though he's got a cannon for a leg, I'm not sure he's the greatest.
Oh, well, did they have the same coach and everything?
Yeah, everything's pretty much
coach?
the same. I don't remember.
We did that last year. I'm going to do it again this year and see if you guys can name the coaches of these teams. You don't know the coaches.
I know some of
them. I'm always so surprised. And then here's my bench. Again, we spent too much time on this already. Yeah. But we got Tyler Lockett. Eli Manning's a notable
Let's just hit
person.
the highlights. How am I going to handle my friends if you do all the talking about your own team?
Go ahead.
Which one of us is a sports stat expert?
You're the sports stat expert. Right. I'm just adorable.
Eli Manning is a fine second backup quarterback. DeAndre Washington has potential to suck some plays out of Latavius Murray. And he has
I know he's better. You know why? Because they actually have video of him on this ESPN.
He has a lot of upside. He's a good rookie.
I have 3 people with video of them on my bench. That means they're better.
No, or something. Or either they were in a car wreck.
Oh.
And then Tyler Boyd, definitely going to be the second wide receiver. He's a good rookie. But all in all, I would say the bench is pretty weak.
All right. So what do you give me? Just come on.
4.
A 4? Last year I had like a 6.
No, you did.
Yes, I did. I did very well last year. Surprisingly well. I think you were afraid or something.
You know what? You talked me into it. 4.5.
4.5. Well, I don't want to talk you into anything.
Running backs are weak. Your running backs are your problem. But Cam Newton and Rob Gronkowski are the 2 best players at their position. So.
All right. So here we go. We got to speed this up. This is ridiculous.
Well, you're my wife. I spend more time on your team.
Oh, thank you. Spend more time to analyze my team. Okay, don't kirk off your cousins. It's Mr. Conti's team.
All right, 2.
He's got the Wookiee. No, you can't just say 2. Come on, you don't have to do everything. But why is he doesn't have anybody with video on his team.
No, I know.
On the bench or the thing. That's a little clue I found out too late. That if somebody has a video of them, like camera.
Well, they might just have done something horrible and be in the news.
Nah.
Or they have an injury situation.
No.
They do that for that too.
Well, I'm just saying that there's no video here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins is his quarterback.
Why is that? Just because he's a DC fan. He's a DC guy. He's a Redskins fan. I hate the name Redskins.
He's never done anything until starting about Game 7 last year. They talk about benching he was doing, and then starting about Game 7, he went crazy and had a great half season, and they signed him to a long-term contract. That's a roll of the dice, but he's got a lot of upside.
Got a lot of upside. Hey, nobody on my team had upside.
And you could pick him. You can pick him. In the 10th round, in the 12th round, and maybe get the production out of a guy you would pick in the 3rd or 4th round if he can. But we don't really know if he can keep up that 9-game stretch he had last year. He's never done it before.
Okay.
So that's a roll of the dice. But I might have tried that.
I have a question. Did you not think any of my players had upside?
I don't remember who your players were. We finished with that already. You already told me we spent too much time on that.
I know, but I just realized.
Did I say any of them did?
No.
Then that's probably not a good sign.
Oh, gosh.
See, Doug Martin, he's been around a long time. The muscle hamster, that's my favorite nickname in the NFL.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Is he little?
Yeah.
Okay. But tough.
He's one of those guys for years and years he didn't do anything, and then every time he starts to do anything, he gets hurt. I'm not buying that. Matt Forte, now I like him a lot. I've had him 3 or 4 the last few years, but Chicago let him go, so that's never a great sign, and he's injury prone. So I think he'll do really well in that offense. He's a receiving guy out of the backfield a lot, and they have a pretty good passing game there these days. But as long as he can stay healthy, that's a good pick. Antonio Brown's the best player, the number one point producer in football. That's the obvious first-round choice. He's great. Jordy Nelson coming off a devastating knee injury. He's a really good receiver if he's healthy. Again, that's kind of a roll of the dice, but no reason to think he's not good. Gary Barnidge played in the NFL for like 8 years and literally never got out of like fourth on the depth chart until last year. Everybody got hurt, and he played great. He's got one good season. That's probably a good like a lower round tight end pick if you picked other things. Doug Baldwin is another one of those guys like Doug Martin where they've played for like 6 years, never did anything, and then last year all of a sudden they started to put up a few numbers and that offense looked better. But he got 12 or 13 touchdowns last year, unlikely to match that again. So I don't know. I think he peaked.
You do not think he has upside?
No. The upside was last year. That's the best he'd possibly do in a million years.
But even if he did 85% of what he did last year.
No, if he did 85% of what he did last year, that'd be a good pick. It's just he's never done it all his other seasons.
That's my problem I have with your upside downside analysis. Is that just because they can't improve over last year.
No, but it's all relative to where they're drafted.
Yeah.
That guy's going to go in the third round. I'd rather have the guy in the 10th round that might match his stats, but he's a rookie, so you can pick him way towards the end of the draft.
Does that matter more in those leagues where you have to pay for people? What are those called?
No, it's the same.
Auction leagues?
Yeah, it's about the same
concept. I think that with all your auction experience, you would like auction leagues.
I do. I've picked a lot of they just take more time to draft it. So.
Okay, after this, we're going to make you your own like Gmail account or Yahoo account that's just for football, and you don't have to use mine, by the way. Remember me to do that. Okay, so Doug Baldwin.
Texas D is fine. Kicker doesn't make any difference.
Do you notice it's all like Italian and Croatian names and stuff? Yeah, it's just like that movie, the Mule movie. Oh God, I just looked it all up. It's not Doug. It's the name from the 70s. The mule that kicks
Gus.
Gus. And did you see how many people were in Gus? Dick Van Patten, Tom Boswell.
We're never gonna finish.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so Conti's bench. John Brown's a pretty good bench-level receiver.
Oh, look, Riddick. Do you like that? Because, like, the Chronicles of Riddick.
DeMarco Murray, now, a couple years ago, was the number one rusher in the NFL for the Cowboys and then was a disaster at Philadelphia. And they drafted that rookie that is tearing it up, Henry. So, I don't know. That's risky. He could have a good time. He's looked good in the preseason. But that rookie is going to suck his carries away, I guarantee it.
Oh, here's that guy I forgot about that was doing really well for a while last year. Matthew Stafford, the Detroit. Yeah. They didn't make it to the playoffs, did they?
That doesn't have a thing to do with it.
I know, yes. but everyone, they were doing really well. And people were like, oh, they're going to get to the playoffs. And then they didn't.
Right.
Okay.
Great.
So overall?
Chris Ivory is going to be a 50%er at Jacksonville. Willie Snead is going to be a pretty decent cog in New Orleans. I like him. Theo Riddick is nothing. Travis Benjamin.
You got to pick somebody.
Nothing. Yeah, those are filler. Matthew Stafford's a good backup quarterback. I give that team about a 5.5.
5.5.
Yep.
Better than me.
Yes. Well, it's much better than your team.
Not as good as you. We'll see about that. We'll see. But somebody once told me that you should just pick everyone off the waiver wire.
Well, today it's much better than your team.
Oh, the waiver wire. Do you want to address what happened with Alex and you in the waiver wire? Didn't he want a change of rules?
Well, ESPN has something like 3 million fantasy teams.
Right.
And if you don't change anything, if you just play it the way they standard set it up, the rule is the last place, there was waiver wire order resets every week in reverse order of the standings. So that whoever's in first place gets the last priority, and whoever's in last place gets the first priority. And after each week goes by, it resets back to that. That is how they do it in every single league. You have to physically change it to do it another way. That's how it comes. So Conti wants it just to be an order that starts out in week 1 with last being first, but then when you get used, you get down to the bottom of the line, and it doesn't reset. So that by the time you're in the 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th week, you got somebody that's, 4 games out and fading fast because they had 3 devastating injuries to their best players. And yet they can't pick first on the waiver wire because they've already picked somebody. And Conti, who's in first place and tearing it up, gets to pick ahead of the last place team. And I don't think that's fair. And clearly ESPN doesn't think it's fair because they've said it the other way.
Which is that what? They the person who's hurt the most in last place gets to pick first on the waiver wire.
I just said that.
No, but I'm trying to catch up. It's absorbed. There's a lot of words. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the point is, do you reset it every week or not? It starts out in every imaginable league that the last place team gets the first pick. But in ESPN, say they take a person off the waiver wire the first week, and then it's the second week and they lose, and they're last again, they get first pick again the second week off the waiver wire. But it's only one pick. Like, once they pick that week, they go to the bottom, and then somebody else comes along.
So you're picking who is the worst each week, not overall.
Yeah. Yeah. Every Monday morning, the order becomes the reverse of the standings that Monday morning.
Okay.
So whoever's last overall gets the first pick that week.
And he wanted it to be
that it starts that way week one, and then as you pick, you go to the bottom. And so in week 2, if the only person who picked was the worst person the first week, they go to the bottom, and then they stay there.
And this is very hypothetical. I doubt this would happen. But if I'm last every single week, I can pick first every single week.
On the waiver wire, on the player. You just choose available on the waiver wire.
And somehow, maybe I'm putting all those good players I'm getting on the bench, I'm not playing, I'm still last again. And so I get to pick again. And Conti's point is I should get to pick first if I'm last the first week, but then I've picked once
Yeah, he feels
first.
like if you've picked 5 guys, he should get to pick 1 guy, like over the course of 7 weeks.
I got you.
But meanwhile, he's still first and you're still last in that scenario.
You're very progressive in this area of your life.
Well, the thing is, honestly, I've played this 25 years. I've won a lot of leagues. That rule would have hurt me most times. So it's not a self-serving rule.
No. You're thinking of the good of the league.
I just think the fairest thing to do is let the last person pick.
Right. I mean, and how much is it going to matter if it's me?
It depends.
Why is there like an X-Acto knife in our bed? That's upsetting. We don't want to see that. That's weird. Okay. Moving on. We've got Team Harrison. And I'm a little surprised he hasn't changed the name, but he might be upset. So upset I took Cam Newton. He can't name it after the Panthers. I don't know.
Isn't Cam a girl's name?
Can be a girl or a boy's.
Cammy?
No, but it could be a girl or a boy's name. Like, there's Camilla, but also Cameron. There are girls named Cameron and guys named Cameron. My name's Blaire. There are now guys and girls named Blaire.
Okay.
Your name Gary, probably not going to happen.
So he's only like 50% woman.
Oh, first of all, that's insulting to women. Women are very strong and
being compared
smart.
to Cam Newton is insulting to women. I agree.
No, stop it. Okay. Now, moving on. We had a little momentum, but I thought it was important to address the waiver wire thing.
Okay.
So here we go. He's forced to take. Actually, I helped Drew. I believe I helped Drew by taking Cam Newton to take his emotion out of the draft, push him outside his comfort zone, because, look, his quarterback is Aaron Rodgers.
Usually, statistically, the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks are very close to each other. The top killer ones are very close. And usually when somebody has like a all-pro, like NFL most valuable player level season, they fall back a little the next year. It's just nobody can put up the best statistics ever every year. They usually fall back. Aaron Rodgers was that level 2 years ago, and he had kind of an off year last year.
Right.
I think the arrow's pointing up for him because he gets Jordy Nelson back as his best receiver. Cam Newton had one of the best years in history last year. I think it's possible he could regress a little bit. It's hard to do that 2 years in a row. So you may have actually helped him. I
helped Drew when he could not help himself. I'm sort of his higher power in this league. So So our celebrity guest and football commentator and enormous Green Bay Packer fan, Tim Harmson, when he was on air with us this summer, was saying Green Bay's going to the Super Bowl, and a lot of people said not like one of the 3 or 4 teams that they definitely think is possible.
Tim Harmstead says it must be true.
Now you're trying to just hurt everyone's feelings. He knows a lot about football.
I know.
No, but everyone agreed. Everyone agreed.
Shows last year.
No, everyone agreed that it was like Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers because he was looking so good. Everyone in our room, like Drew and you. And Drew and you, and
they're looking fine.
You and Drew and Tim all agreed that Green Bay looking at Aaron Rodgers
contender.
Looking. Yes, absolutely. Okay, whew, that's only the first one.
Oh, Todd Gurley's the best running back in football, probably. LaShawn McCoy, this is hard to know. Buffalo's had a lot of injuries in the preseason. He didn't have a great year last year, and he's older, so...
He doesn't have any video either. No. Can we go back to Todd Gurley for a second?
Sure.
He's with the L.A. Rams. No, yes, LA Rams. And how are the Rams looking just generally?
Not good.
I've been watching that Hard Knocks.
No, they need.
I haven't been watching it. I've seen the preview of the Hard Knocks.
No, well, if you watch Hard Knocks, you think they're going to win the Super Bowl because they cast them very kindly on there. But no, they're going to be mediocre.
I mean, it won't matter. They're going to be in LA. They're going to be superstars. So we did LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Are you done with him? He was very injury prone. I think.
Yeah, well, he's getting older, is what I'm saying. That tends to be what happens. And Buffalo, I don't know. Some days the offense looks like world killers, and then some weeks they don't do anything.
Okay.
But he's got a pedigree, but he's got a lot of mileage on him.
He's got pedigree, but mileage. Does he have upside?
No, that's what I'm saying. He's older. He's on his way down.
Pedigree, mileage. There are certain terms you're using a lot. Upside. We're going to have a glossary, I think, maybe on the website. A Gary glossary. Oh, that's cute sounding. The Gary glossary of football.
Okay.
Michael Floyd.
No, those are the receivers are his weakness. The quarterback and running backs are fine. Those guys are both suits.
What is that? What does that mean?
They look good. There's always a lot of talk about him. Every year, Keenan Allen's going to burst out, be the next thing, and then every year he fractures his patella.
Every year.
Well, no, but
he's got an eggshell patella.
I don't mean it literally. I mean
there's an introduction to torts law case about an eggshell patella.
That's good to know. What are you taking?
Diet Coke mostly. Okay.
Michael Floyd. It's the Arizona receivers. How is this? Your team has 3 receivers, and they're ranked 52, 53, and 54 directly next to each other, all 3 exactly the same level in the ESPN rankings. They're all mediocre, and they're all going to steal carries from each other. I don't buy any of those guys. He's the same way. Every year he's supposed to break out, and every year he sticks his knee up his nose and misses 9 games.
That is complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg Olson.
He's good. He's the second best tight end.
Carolina, I noticed.
Yes, of course.
Flex is Jordan Matthews.
Oh, he's an ass clown.
I'm going to put that in the glossary.
Okay.
What about him? What makes someone an ass clown?
No, I don't know. Full of talent, never does anything.
Okay. It's going to be in the Gary glossary of football. Bengals. Oh, we could submit that to our friends at Nuts and Bolts Sports.
What's it?
The Gary glossary of football.
Okay.
Bengals.
Yeah, they're in the top 10 defenses. That's a viable defense.
I mean, you got to pick somebody.
Yeah.
Kicker.
Carolina kicker is fine. They can score a lot of points.
Okay, and then is there anything we got to move? Is there anything notable, important about this?
I'm looking.
He's got a backup defense. Not everybody picks defense.
Yeah, it's good though.
Bench.
They're good defense. Like they might be as good as the defense he's starting.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, like, I'm
it's
not
a strategy.
sure.
Take 2 defenses. I'd rather have an extra running back, a wide receiver who's a rookie that might blow up and do it.
That's a lot of upside.
Yes, but that's a strategy because
okay.
then
that was my question.
Then you can play the matchups each week. Whoever plays the bad team, you put them in.
Okay, that was my question. Sort of like
that's a weak bench though. In general, I don't see. Let me see. Derek Carr is a reasonably good backup. Other than him. I don't. And Alan Hearns had a great year last year. He can't possibly replicate. I don't think I'd take anybody on that bench.
Okay.
I don't like his bench.
All right. So all that in keep all that in blah blah blah. What do you give it for a? Points.
5.
5. So worse slightly than Conti's.
Yeah.
Better than mine.
Yeah.
But not by much.
Well, you did steal his quarterback.
I did. But that's going to help him. He
Maybe.
probably would be a
Maybe.
4.5 if it wasn't for me.
We'll see.
He's lucky to have me. All right. All right. Daddy Jack and the Ball Sacks.
Well, I'm going to take a point off for the name. That's a terrible name.
Okay. Which is...
I'm offended by that name.
I don't even know exactly why, but I am too. Which is weird. We're not usually offended by
the emoji of a cowardly thief running away with the ball.
Yeah, and nothing about that says winner to me. So here we go. We Mr. Brian Bava's lineup here.
Well, Roethlisberger is a shell of his former self.
Really though?
No, I'm kidding. He's fine. I take him
because he was hurt. He got hurt.
No. That offense is a dynamic offense. I took him in a lot of leagues. He has been injury prone lately though because he gets hit a lot.
Yeah. Is that because his offensive line is not good?
Yes, and
at defending him. See, that's what to me is confusing. It's the offensive line, but they're not considered defense, but they are defending the quarterback. That's where I get confused.
And the defense is trying
earlier.
to offend the quarterback.
Right.
So yes, it's a little confusing to you.
Well, because I'm very good at vocabulary.
So I like
my
him.
Intelligence is playing against me.
He gets hurt a lot because he's like 6'5", 250, and your picture of him is he's always like throwing a touchdown pass with 4 guys like hanging off him, and you can do that when you're 23. It's hard to do that when you get in your 30s. It takes a
He's
toll.
a little bit of a blood diamond.
So if he stays healthy, they're gonna score a lot of points. He's great, but it's risky.
I'm a little ashamed last year because I think he's a little bit of a blood diamond. Okay.
Okay.
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson's got some mileage on him. That's another one of those like LaShawn McCoy picks. He's one of the best running back to come along the last decade, but he's getting up there. I think he's 31, and he missed a complete season with knee, although he came back quite strongly. And now they just lost their quarterback, so they may be keying on him. So.
And Eddie Lacy, we just heard about last night driving back from the beach.
Well, yes, they said the 2 and the 7 have come closer together on his jersey
I guess
now
he
because
lost
he's not
weight.
a big fat ass like he was last year when he fucked me when I drafted him. He did nothing.
You carry grudges.
Yeah. So
for a long time.
Well, I'm just saying. If he really lost some weight in his contract year, I believe, he's a good running back, and that's a good offense. And the running back's always going to do well in that offense because there's such a good passing game that they have to play that, and the running game has a lot of holes. So he's probably have a good year if he's back in shape. But it is a little risky because he sucked last year. Also, the backup is pretty good. So, like, if he comes out of the gate slow, they can go to the other dude.
Okay. T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, he's fine. I drafted him in a few leagues.
And Luck is supposed to be back and good
he
now,
is.
right?
They're gonna throw more this year, but he's very bomb or bust. Like you get you 22 points this week and 1 next week, and he's always like tearing a hamstring and out for pulling a hamstring. He's out for 3 games. He's a little bit of a prima donna.
Bomb or bust. I'm putting in the glossary.
Yeah.
Did we say Randall Cobb?
Well, everybody thought Randall Cobb was going to blow up last year when Jordy Nelson went down. He was the only receiver they had left. He didn't do a thing. So now with Jordy, it's like a. There's 2 sides to it. Jordy Nelson is going to be so watched that Randall Cobb will be open, and yet he's going to throw a lot of balls to Jordy Nelson that last year would have gone to Randall Cobb. So
who's the blonde man with the long ponytail on Green Bay? Who does all the commercials?
Yeah,
he looks
he's
like a
on
Nordic
defense. He's a
dog.
linebacker.
Oh, okay, never mind. Jason Witten, Dallas. I mean, you love Dallas.
Yeah, I do love Dallas. There's never been an octogenarian to make the All-Pro team.
Is he old?
Yeah, he's been around since the AFL-NFL merger.
No,
but he's got to be 37. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, for an NFL player, that's really if the rookie plays, he'll throw the tight end a lot. That's the safety valve for a rookie quarterback. But he's not a top 10. He's not a top 10 tight end.
And then
he's better than the ass clown he took last year. Remember they took that guy for San Francisco last year that hadn't played in about a decade, and then he did. I don't even think he made the team. Remember that?
Not
what was
specific.
his name? Bava will remember because I criticized him for it last year, and you go afterwards, and yet he was terrible.
Okay.
All right.
Bava made it to the finals of our fantasy,
but not with that guy.
Okay. Jonathan Stewart, now that he has retired from Comedy Central,
right?
Is available.
He's fine flex. He's a flex running back. That's fine.
And the Packers defense.
Top 10 defense, yeah, that's fine too.
And then Stephen Gostkowski.
He's generally regarded as the best fantasy kicker, but all the top 10 fantasy kickers are interchangeable.
And do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And then
their quarterback is suspended the first 4 games, so maybe that means they
right.
They
Tom
don't
Brady.
get as
we'll
many.
Get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that might mean their offense is not as good, but it also might mean instead of touchdowns they get field goals. So who knows? It's hard to say.
We're gonna get to that with Timmy Booth thing in a minute, and then checking out his bench very quickly so we can move to the other league. We still got 5 more things to do. All right. We're moving at a better clip now that we're done with all our sponsors.
Kelvin Benjamin was hurt, missed the whole last year. If he comes back from his knee, that's a better receiver than some of the jokers that he's starting. Torrey Smith is this year's ode to San Francisco, Bava's love for San Francisco. Every year he picks one player that sucks that isn't relevant anymore from San Francisco because he loves San Francisco. That's this year's.
Okay, that's like you with Dallas.
No, I don't pick them on my fantasy team.
Giants?
Do you pick them for your fantasy team even though they're not any good because they're on the Giants?
I don't know if they're good or not, but I picked them because
they're on
the
it's
Giants.
sort of like that.
Yeah.
And then Steve Smith Sr., is he still alive? I thought he died of old age.
No, he's still alive.
Bava has got to have the oldest team in our entire league.
Wow. Well, I'll
have to figure that out.
He's consistent.
Roethlisberger, Peterson, Jason Witten, Jonathan Stewart.
We can absolutely, we won't do it right now.
Steve Smith Sr.
We could absolutely go through everyone's team, look at the ages on the cards, and then do an average.
Oh, he took no soul Andy Dalton.
Okay. What?
Andy Dalton, he has no soul. He's a redhead.
Oh, well. We did well last year. I remember that.
Yeah, he did much better than anybody thought he would.
Because that's why I knew about Stafford, because he was on the Lions, a cat team, and that's why I know about Andy.
Yeah, he was our quarterback, and we finished second.
Yeah. So what do you think of his bench? And give him a score.
Jimmy Graham's a horrible shell of himself. Chris Johnson is about 80. This is the oldest team I've ever seen.
Okay.
I give him a...
You want me to tell you what you gave everybody else?
Yeah.
You gave yourself a 7.
Right.
You gave me a 4.5.
I stand by both of those. What else?
You gave Alex Conti a 5.5.
Yeah.
And you gave Drew Harrison a 5.
Now, keep in mind, this is today.
Right,
These things
of
can
course.
change so massively.
Monday, September 5th.
But I gave you a 4.5 and you made the playoffs. I gave you a bad grade last year, too, and you made the playoffs because you'd made a lot of changes
I'm telling you,
during
you
the
made
year.
me like a 6 last year.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You must have had a good team.
Yeah.
This is like a 5.
Okay. It's about average. All right, moving on. Now, listeners, we don't have any more controversies to hash out. We don't have any more
make up some.
sponsors. I'm just saying, like, the second half should go faster. All right. First up in the Western League, and I like this name. It's the auto-drafted heroes, Timmy Booth. He was in his car in Seattle. He pulled over. It wasn't in time. It didn't work out. But I have a lot of confidence in him. He's wily. So, but you gave him an incredibly high. You gave him a higher score than yourself last year.
He started off with the best team,
and it didn't.
And he butchered it.
Well, but then he's also a huge Panthers fan, even though he's out in Seattle now, and so that was a big.
So go to the game, get a foam finger and a hot dog. Don't fucking draft him.
Oh, I'm sorry, Timmy. The friend alienation is back. All right, let's look here. Come on.
Yeah. Tyrod Taylor is fine up-and-coming quarterback. He could be the breakout quarterback, yeah.
Would you say he has a lot of upside?
Yes, I would.
Would you say that he has mileage or a pedigree?
No, he doesn't have... No, he's young, and he's never done anything until last year, so he doesn't have either of those.
He's not just a suit, nor an ass clown, nor is he a blood diamond.
No.
Okay, has he gotten into trouble? Like, is he accused of beating anyone?
I believe I think he went to Virginia Tech, too, so okay. I got to have a rooting interest for him.
Okay. So, Tyrod Taylor could have a lot of upside. Lamar Miller.
Yeah, Lamar Miller and Mark Ingram are both suits. They are the definition of suits. They played for like 6 years. They never did anything. They had a mild uptick last year. Now everybody's drafting them in the second round, and they stink.
So you think that Timmy Booth is just being trendy?
Well, he took 2 trendy
in fairness, this was pretty much auto-drafted.
Yes, that's why you don't want to auto-draft, because they...
Well, he did not want to auto-draft, I will say.
They put the flavor of the month.
He feels that the definitely he's going to be the king of the waiver wire. So, and he's got the patience to do that, I think. He's got an intellectual curiosity, a patience that I think, like I, for example, don't have.
All right, this is why this is taking so long.
Okay, it's my fault. Julio Jones?
He's one of the 3 best receivers in football.
Amari Cooper?
And he's a young up-and-coming guy with a
Julio
lot of...
or Amari?
Amari.
Okay. And then Zach Ertz?
Borderline tight end 1.
Julian Edelman?
Yeah, he's Brady's favorite target. I mean, he'll do well when Brady's playing. It just depends, And he's also injury-prone.
And then he took the Rams defense.
They are going to fall off the cliff. I don't like that at all.
Okay. Mason Crosby. It probably took him last in the auto draft.
Yeah, kickers are fine. They're all the same.
Now, maybe one of my favorite names in football. I don't know exactly what he does, but Golden Tate.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver for Detroit. He's going to have a good year because they're going to have to throw a lot.
And
they've got Jim Bob Cooter running the show there, and he's a pass happy fool.
Now he's a blood diamond. Okay. Remember, he's accused of breaking into women's rooms. Yeah. Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, that's right.
God Almighty, it's not Butch Culpepper, but it's close.
Yeah.
And it just now we're on his bench. Golden Tate is on his bench.
Yeah.
And also on his bench, but I think this is fine. Is Tom Brady?
Well, he's out the first 4 games. What, are you going to start him?
No, but I mean he's got Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, that's fine. And, that's a good quarterback situation.
He was laughing about that, but I think it's gonna. I think that's that's perfectly good pick. I'm surprised someone didn't take him before then.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of super pro Brady. Do we have any big Brady fans in our league? I don't feel like we do.
I don't punch anybody.
But there's always somebody.
Marvin Jones has been an ass clown for 6 years with Cincinnati. Never did a thing. Now he goes to Detroit, and all of a sudden people want to draft him. I don't see why. Kevin White's a rookie.
People feeling good about Detroit this year?
I guess. Kevin White's a rookie with no particular pedigree. Sterling Shepard's going to be the number 2 wide receiver in New York because everybody else got hurt, but he's not particularly anything. Charles Sims is a backup in... What about him?
Oh, is he running back?
No.
Oh, I thought...
Do we have him on this team?
Oh, no, you said he was going to be the number 1 wide receiver in New York.
Number two wide receiver in New York. Okay. And then Charles Sims is the muscle hamster's backup. And he will have lots of opportunity to score points if the muscle hamster goes down, which he's known to do. But as stands, he's just sitting on the bench.
Okay, so what do you give as a score overall here?
Yeah, I hate this team.
Why do you hate it? I think that Tom Brady thing's going to come back.
Those two guys are worthless.
Oh, well, you don't.
And that's the two most important positions on the team. Julio, the receivers are good. Jones and Cooper are fine, but Cooper's not proven yet. He's only had a year.
But he has a lot of upside.
He does.
By definition.
Yeah.
Of the Gary Glossery.
Yeah, I give it a 4.5.
Oh, my God. That's as bad as mine.
Yeah.
But you know what? You gave him a high score last year, and it didn't help him.
What? It's just today. It means nothing. My team might be totally different. Look at it.
I know, but we're going to release this, and now you might be helping people in their drafts. A lot of people are going to be drafting this week.
Right.
First game Thursday on locally on WECT. Okay, now this is Drew's friend. I'm sure she's very nice, and I know she's not even your friend to alienate her. Okay. You don't even know her yet, but I'm sure we'll get to know her well over the season. I'm sure she's very nice. She had a fun name.
Call in?
We could call her. We could. Everybody wants to call in, so I think we'll get everybody at some point this year. Now that we have the call-in thing kind of down. We did not have that down last year. Laura Cahoy, but her name is Lucky Mother Funches, which is a fun name. So that's fun.
Should we call her Chips? Chips Cahoy?
Yes, we should.
Right.
I think we'll call her Chips. That's a fun thing. So she's got the spirit of it, and you don't know her. She could be very nice, so keep in mind.
Well, it doesn't matter if I know you or not. I'll butcher your team either way.
Right, fair enough. Okay, sorry, Laura. I can't wait to meet you.
This looks relatively good, at least first few.
Okay.
Andrew Luck would be my first choice at quarterback this year. I think he's going to bounce back. Have a huge year. He's a Hall of Fame talent, and he had an off year last year, so he's going lower. Ezekiel Elliott, if the Romo hadn't gotten hurt.
Now, you love the Cowboys, and you like this pick of theirs, right?
Well, until Romo got hurt. Now I'm afraid if the quarterback doesn't live up to his expectations, everybody's just going to stack 9 guys on the line to stop the running back. So, I don't know. I don't like it as much as I did before Romo got hurt. Right. But then if Dak Prescott turns into a machine, Elliott's going to run wild. Right. So it's risky. Okay. He's good, though. He's got a lot of talent. But you like it as a pick. Okay. Yeah. Carlos Hyde. Now, that offense, Chip Kelly, who went from Philadelphia, where they were just lit up the offense every time, to San Francisco, I read some stat about how his running backs have always just blown up. So Carlos Hyde has a lot of talent. He's a little injury prone, and there's not a lot of offensive talent on that team, like the quarterbacks and wide receivers. And yet, in Chip Kelly offense, the lead running back often does quite well. So that's a lot of information. I'd like to point out to the listeners, too, that Gary has no notes. We have the internet up just so we can look at everyone's team. He's not looking anything up on the internet. Everything you hear is completely from that incredible, incredible mind of his. The steel trap has been opened. The steel trap has been opened. Pandora's box, if you will, in my opinion. And yet, this is what an incredible statistical mind, great memory. Is he using this to pick stocks in the stock market for us? No. 50 years, never done a thing with it. Never done a thing with it except this. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. Brandon Marshall was the number one receiver in Miami. He was the number one receiver with Chicago. Now he's gone on to New York. They have a lot of weapons. I think he's going to have a good year, but he's got a little mileage on him. A little mileage on him. Yeah. Okay, we got that in the glossary. But that's a good pick. And Jarvis Landry, he's a suit. It's a suit. Okay. Yeah, and Travis Kelce, tight end is thin, so you can't really criticize. He's a top 10 tight end, but he's kind of a suit too. No, everybody's not Ron Gronkowski. Yeah. Rob Gronkowski. Right. I always want to call him. Nobody is, but him. He's really unique. Okay. Defense Panthers. And she's a Panthers fan. You skipped on Matty Jones. Oh, I'm sorry. Matty Jones. I like to say Washington. Yeah, I don't like to say Redskin. He's got some upside. He had talent. He was a rookie last year. Everybody kind of liked him. He did have a few breakout games, but he also just got buried amongst the competition, and he's injured right now going into the season. So we'll see. Jury's out on him. Okay, Panthers. She's a Panthers fan. Panthers D is good. Kicker. Who's Steven Hauschka, he's generally regarded as the second. How did you say that name? Hauschka. Okay. He's generally regarded as like the second kicker. The kickers don't matter. Okay. Top 10 kickers fine. A little bit. And then we're back as long as you don't take that Polish guy from the Raiders. That's okay. So we got her bench, and I think her namesake is on this bench, Devin Funches. But she didn't take it. She didn't let her emotions rule her. Good. She named the team after him, but did not take him early in the draft. And who else she got? What do you think of this bench? Deshaun Jackson is one of those. She also went for drafting a defense in the bench, by the way. He's going to be really dependent on all he does is catch like 76-yard touchdown passes. So if he has a game where he catches one, he scores 15 points. If he doesn't score anything. Deshaun? And he'll be out. Wouldn't that be true for everyone? No. Okay. No. And he'll also miss 4 games a year with like a tweak to his hamstring. So I don't like him, but He's also dependent on that Washington quarterback actually coming through and being consistently good, which is not proven.
Okay. Yeah. And so what do you think of the Devin Funches just because she named her team after him?
I think that he is potentially pretty good wide receiver in that offense. He's big and tall. Now, the guy that missed last year as the number one receiver is coming back this year, but he's also in his second year and getting better. I like that. He's got upside for sure.
And she's got Jets defense. Okay, so let's move on here. What do you give her as a score?
This kid right here, Tajay Sharp, intrigues me. He was a fifth-round draft pick from like Louisiana Tech or something like that, and he's torn it up in the preseason. Now he's going to start for Tennessee, and they've got that young Marcus Mariota who's in his second year and looking pretty good. He could be a breakout player. I've taken him in a lot of leagues.
Okay, what do you give as a score? Do you want me to tell you what you gave everybody else?
No, 5.
5. So about the same as Team Harrison, but not as good as Alex Conti's?
Right.
All right.
See, I know Conti flipped his fucking lid when I gave him a 5.5, but he's now like second. I'm just a hard grader.
Yeah, except... okay, so let's move on. We're going to go to Team Kearney with Donnell / Dink. That's his sort of writing pen name, Dink Kearney. And let's see, your fellow Cowboys fan. So let's see what you got here.
Carson Palmer is not a top 5 quarterback, but I think he's a top 10 quarterback. The only problem with him is he's got a lot of mileage on him, so got to keep him upright and playing healthy. Jamal Charles, I believe, is out for the beginning of the season now. His knee injury not recuperating as well from last year. He had one of those complete blowout knee injuries last year, and he's in his 30s and got a lot of mileage on him. Jeremy Hill splits time at the running back. He gets the goal line and the first down work, and Giovanni Bernard gets all the passing and the third down work. So he's good, but he's never going to be the superstar like a guy who's the only back in an offense would be. DeAndre Hopkins is like the third best receiver in football. That's great. Allen Robinson, now that Jacksonville situation is interesting. They lit it up last year. Every one of their offensive players way over what people thought they were going to do. This year, they've got a couple of good running backs, and I think they're going to be ball control. Also, they improved their defense. They were always having to catch up. Remember that game was it in England where we were listening in the morning and it was like 50-45 or something? Yeah. Their defense is going to be a little better this year, so they might not have to score the points they scored. I think all of their guys are going to regress a little bit. He's a good receiver, but...
And I think he may have auto-drafted a lot of this, or some of it was auto-drafted and some of it he got to draft because he was in the middle of something too.
Delaney Walker is an excellent tight end. He's the number 2 or 3 tight end to me. Alshon Jeffrey's fine, flex. He's a flex receiver. Raiders D is young and upcoming, but not proven yet. Vinatieri's kicker's a kicker.
Oh, jerk.
Arian Foster.
Now we're on his bench.
Yeah, I think Arian Foster's going to play a lot until he gets hurt. He gets hurt every year, but he's going to play a lot. Devontae Parker is a potential upcoming receiver. Ryan Matthews is pretty good. The rest of it are reaches. Chris Hogan might actually catch a few passes once Brady comes back. I like this team. I give it a 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because that is the highest score other than your own so far. Now, do you think that you're being influenced by the fact that Dink is also a humongous Cowboys fan and that you like him because of that?
No.
That's a fucking yes. Okay, next.
No, it's not. No, I'm not influenced by anything. If his team sucked, I would absolutely tell him.
Okay, I like the logo that Mr. Bishop has here.
Yes, I like that.
It's like a skeleton with a
motorcycle helmet,
old timey motorcycle helmet and goggles. Team Red Rockets. I'm pretty sure this was largely auto drafted.
What are you talking about? I saw him in the library doing research.
Right. So let's go here, Mr. Bishop's team.
Yeah. One of these days, Phillip Rivers' legs are going to fall off, and he's just going to have to crawl off the field by the use of his arms. So that's risky. But they have some play. It's just what 1 year he's going to be done. And it's getting there close. But if he gets one more year out of him, that's pretty good offense if he blasts, David Johnson is a little bit of a suit. He's had half of one season where he did good, but he doesn't have the years of unproduction like the real suits have. So I don't know. He has a little upside. He's like an upside suit cross. He was ranked 8th.
How is that possible? Upside means you could really do better than where you were drafted at. And suit means you're nothing. You're just a shell of yourself.
The suits, typically what I mean by suit is somebody who has been 5 or 6 years a starter in the league and always everybody thinks they can do something. They really never do anything.
They never live up to potential.
They look great. All the factors plays for New Orleans, so he's in a a big, awesome offense, and he's built and he got all these yards in college and won the Heisman, but yet they never do anything. So But he hasn't been around all that long, so he's still got like some.
We talked so much I forgot who we were talking about.
Dave Johnson.
Okay.
Dave Johnson, and his improv is fantastic.
That is Dave Johnson, who lives in D.C. and
Oh,
is a
that's not the
different person.
He's not a 6'4", 220 black man that runs a 4.5 40.
No.
Okay.
Unless something very strange has happened.
Anyway, Le'Veon Bell, I love. I've been drafting him in every league I get my hands on. I love the Pittsburgh offense. All their stars are going to be great. The only problem with him is he's going to miss the first 3 games. But then you just draft D'Angelo Williams, which he failed to do because I got him. And D'Angelo Williams is going to do great in the first 3 games. So, but I love Le'Veon Bell. I think because he's the one guy, he catches passes and he runs, he's going to have a ton of points, and that offense is awesome. And they have such good downfield with Antonio Brown that they can't stack the line to stop him either. So that's good, but he's going to be hurting for the first 3 games. Mike Evans, he's got that young quarterback who's looking pretty good. Probably going to get better in his second year. I think you'll see Mike Evans have a better year than he had last year. Jeremy Macklin's a good receiver. He was good in Philly. He was good in Kansas City with no quarterback. So that's a fine choice. Jordan Reed is the number 3 or 4 tight end as long as Washington's offense wasn't a fluke last year. Eric Decker's always good. That Jets offense is good. Patriots D is fine. Kicker doesn't matter.
Bench. Just telling people we're good.
Yeah, bench.
Is Philip Dorsett related to Tony Dorsett?
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Antonio Gates should have been on Bava's team. He's 40, I think, or 41.
Okay.
Amir Abdullah potentially. The bench is weak. I give him a 5.5.
Okay. Mr. Bishop gets
I like starting lineup.
Mr. Bishop gets a 5.5.
Now, if that ends up being like the 4th best score, I'll predict right now he's not going to finish 4th. I'm not.
You don't feel like Mr. Bishop's going to keep up with his team?
It's something along those lines.
Oh, my goodness. I am surprised you would say something like that about Mr. Bishop.
Probably shouldn't have said it.
You love him.
I know.
He's your,
Just to convince you that I'm being, fair in this. I'm not playing favorites.
All right. You just look into those pale blue eyes every week and you fall a little bit more in love.
All right.
All right. So this is the last team. This is Team Maxwell from Wills Maxwell. I'm pretty sure.
I like Mills Waxwell. That works well.
Mills Waxwell. That could be a person like he's a professor at a wizard school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that could happen. Mills Waxwell, professor of iconography.
Demonology.
Yeah, or something like that. There you go. He would probably like that, Wills.
He probably would.
All right, so I'm pretty sure most of this was auto-selected.
Huh. Wonder why.
Okay,
so Russell Wilson's fine quarterback.
Yeah.
See, Devontae Freeman, last year he got beat out in the preseason, and the guy that beat him out played a game or 2 and was great, was good, and was scoring 10 points a game. And then got hurt, and Devontae Freeman came off the bench and had like 36 points against the Cowboys and became the number 1 running back in fantasy last year. He was a suit before that. He'd never done anything. I didn't like him. He's small. He's a very small guy.
Would you say that he's filled out his suit?
I don't know. We'll find out after this year.
Is that a phrase we can use?
That came out of nowhere.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That came out of nowhere. And the guy that beat him out last year is healthy again and back this year. So I'm not convinced. Like he's the number 9 ranked player on the ESPN rankings. I wouldn't pick him. I haven't taken him a single league because I think if you're going to take him, you got to take him about 30th because I don't think it's a slam dunk and he doesn't last that long. So
okay, Latavius.
Don't like that. Latavius Murray. I've seen more various forecasts on him, by ESPN suits, or a different kind of suit than the other guys. That some love him, some hate him. I don't know. It's really hard. They also have a rookie that's pretty good that's going to take a few of his carries. So I don't love that either. A.J. Green is a really good receiver. He's a top 10 receiver, but he's a little injured, and he's been injury prone the last couple of years, and they don't have a lot of other offensive options, so that one's marginal. Sammy Watkins was so terrible the first half of last year, and then he had some good games that again, all these guys are like, you know. Tyler Eifert is out for the first 4 weeks, I believe, with injury. I loved him. He carried my teams last year, and I think he's good. But he's got an ankle.
Dink, you need a new.
No, isn't this Mills Waxwell?
Oh yes, Wills. You need a new tight end.
Yeah. Brandon Cooks.
Oh, and you know what? His initials are T.E. Tyler Eifert, and he is a T.E.
Yes, that's.
What do you know about that? What do you think about them apples? What if all the quarterbacks had to have QB names like Quinn and Quincy?
The level of the play would go down considerably.
Yes. Okay, so and defense is the Vikings, and the kicker is Dan Bailey.
Yeah. And then the bench, Duke Johnson could turn into something if there was an injury. I like his potential. Mm-hmm. And Derrick Henry, he's going to be a star in this league. But he's behind somebody that they're paying a lot of money to right now, so it may not happen the first half of this year.
But he should keep him and get him ready to go. Well, he could take up,
Well, the thing is, he's one injury away from being a top 10 running back.
Okay. Not his own injury, somebody else's.
Right, yes.
Right. Because that would be counter injury. And then, so the bench, is the rest of the bench. So what do you give Mr. Maxwell here?
4.5.
4.5. Sounded better than that for a while. All right, so just to summarize here, you give yourself a 7.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You give me a 4.5.
Yeah.
You give Alex Conti a 5.5.
Right.
You give Drew Harrison a 5.
Right.
You give Brian Bava a 5.
Yeah.
You give Timmy Booth a 4.5.
Okay.
You give Laura Chips Cahoy a 5.
Okay.
You give Dink Kearney a 6.
Right.
You give Lewis Bishop a 5.5.
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
Way above average. And you give Wills Maxwell a 4.5.
See,
but you give yourself a 7.
Let me ask you something. If Bishop had drafted his own team,
yep.
Do you think it would have been a lower score than the? I think these auto drafts probably helped some of these
people.
Well,
I think that he would have been a little heavier on the Raiders.
Or something.
Yeah, like that. So, and just before we go,
okay.
I want to just throw out this to the listeners. You are trying to do 50, God help me, fantasy league teams this year. We're going to get you another login name.
Yep.
So last year you did a team with players with only cat named teams,
yes.
Bengals, Jaguars, Lions, Panthers. You're going to do that again. Here are the themes we came up with, as well as you're going to do an all AFC West team, that kind of thing. You're going to do an all historic rivals of the Dallas Cowboys team. That you're going to do those kind of league teams, but the fun, fanciful ones that I enjoy. These are the ones I came up with, and if the listeners have any suggestions, they can tweet us or email us or whatever. We have, or hit us up on Facebook. I've posted it there. We have all bird name teams, which are Ravens, Eagles, Falcons, Cardinals, Seahawks. We have all mythical beings or magical creature teams, Giants, Chargers. I just decided the Chargers could throw down lightning bolts. I wasn't sure what a Charger was.
A Charger?
They have the lightning bolt on them.
I don't know.
The Saints and the Titans. The Wild West teams are the Bills, Texans, Colts, Broncos, Chiefs, Cowboys, Redskins, yuck, I don't like saying that, the Washington team, and the 49ers. Historical figure teams. This was I put Buffalo Bills, like the person Buffalo Bill, Buffalo Bill Cody, the Patriots, the Browns, because they're just named after an old coach of theirs, which is, I guess he's an historical figure. Texans, because I wasn't sure if that actually referred to, when the Texans were trying to get independence at the Alamo and all that. The Vikings and the 49ers, also I put in historical teams. What were you going to say?
I don't think the Texans.
Well,
from Texas.
Okay. Occupational teams, jets. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be an homage to people who made jet engines or something, like the Supersonics or something.
No, I think the planes fly over the stadium.
Oh, no, maybe that doesn't belong there. The Steelers, the Chiefs, maybe?
What?
As an occupational team, teams named after occupations. The Raiders.
Right.
The Cowboys. And I put the Buccaneers in this, too. It's kind of, it's what they do. We're talking about what they do for, a job. Yeah. And then mammals, that's how I worked that out. I didn't make it land mammals. Got the Dolphins in here. Mammals, Dolphins, Bengals, Colts, Jaguars, Broncos, Bears, Lions, Panthers, Rams. That took most of the rest of them.
Teams. There's no challenge.
I don't know. That one is, that one's 9 teams. All right. So just some thoughts on that.
Okay.
All right. Just some thoughts on that. Well, we're going to be releasing this.
I think I want to do one where I draft a team and then at the end I just cut everybody on my team and pick an entirely new team off the waiver wire.
All right.
I think that would be a test of my management mettle.
Yes, indeed it would. Management medal. We'll put that on there.
Right.
Gary Glossary of Football. To download, okay, that's going to be it here. Happy Labor Day, everyone. To download all the episodes we put out every week, please, oh, for the love of Christ, please, or whoever you hold dear, Please subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. You can also go to patreon.com, patreon.com /myfantasywife, and you can support our cause for $2 a month. You can get us tweeting out things every month about you. If you don't like what we say we offer, hey, make us an offer. We'll go ahead and do that. We actually got our first $2 subscription, and we're going to be paying homage to them next week.
I'll criticize your football team for $1.
There you go. See? Make us an offer, guys. Gary, can you do like a humming version of the Al Hurt song? Do, 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 do. Okay, find us on Facebook and Instagram, and if you lose any of this information, just go to myfantasywife.com. Thank you, Gary, for taking us out. Oh, my. All right, Postman Haymes out. Hold on.